right, this is for my beginners out there. I want to do a quick crash course lesson on beginning blues piano. I'm going to put a link in the description. Many of you have this. If you're a member of any of the academies, you already have this. But we probably have some people out there that are just coming here for the first time, or maybe you've been hanging out for a while, but I want to get you this PDF. And let's just go through each one of these ideas. And the first thing you're going to do is the first 5 notes of the C blues scale. Now, the C blues scale comes from the major scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And we think in terms of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whenever I tell you to build a chord or a scale, I want you to think of that major scale. So C major, and I say the 1 of C major, the flat third. Normally we have an E natural, but the flat third, the 4, the sharp 4, and the 5th note. So that's this pattern right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are our finger numbers, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the left hand. And you can play it 2 octaves apart is what I recommend, because it sounds better to me. And what you're going to do is just get used to going up and down. And the great thing about that is if I'm doing this simple pattern in the left hand, C, G to C, A, all of those notes are going to work. I can just pick 2 notes. Even when I go to the other chords like F, even when I go to the G, all right, so let's go ahead after you learn that and know that that is a great exercise for you to practice every day. I tell my students that make sure you're working the fingers every day, and I have a lot of retired guys and girls that are in some of my groups, and it doesn't matter your age or your stage. You need to be working the fingers every single day. This is a great exercise to do. There are also, of course, Hannon exercises, which just skips a white note and keeps going up. You practice those slowly, but this is a great exercise for the fingers. You can go up by half steps if you have a little bit more experience. You can play that in all keys if you want. The next thing we're going to do is go on to the second example, and that is simply this. The first 5 notes of the blues scale with the left-hand pattern of C, G to C, A. So going back to our major scales, you have C up to G is 5 notes away. So C, G, when I say root 5th, I mean the root of C major and the 5th note, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So root 5th to root 6th. And if you're on the beginning side of things, or maybe even intermediate, remember whenever I spell out numbers, you go from left to right in the same way that you would read a book. Root 5th to root 6th, C up to A. In our right hand, I like to teach this called automatic pilot. And what that means is I can just go up and down as a great exercise. In my right hand, I'm doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. In my left hand, I'm doing quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And what I tell people often is that you don't have to swing anything, 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then. You can play it slow and straight like a classical person. So you can lock up your hands, and that's one of the things I love to teach people is how do you lock up the hands? How do you get the left hand and the right hand to sync up? And one way is just to play something slow and straight. So we could do this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you figure out where the notes lock up. So if I do this, 1, okay, my C is together with my C and G. And when I get to the C and A, I'm on F. And I'm back to C and G. And once I get to that C and A again, I'm on F. I'm doing it slow and straight right now. And again, if you have more experience, and don't just go through all the keys. Spend a little time in each key. Like maybe I'm in the key of F and I go. Just up and down. Build up that muscle memory. A fun thing about muscle memory when it comes to when you're talking about piano is that if I learn this right here and then I play it on D or in D, I'm doing the same exact muscle memory. right? So it makes it easy to transpose things. And I always say you're a couple of fingerings away from being able to play something in all keys. And we've been doing that a lot lately at iMusicAcademy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the third example is this. One of my favorites is to go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and so 1, 2, 1, 4, 5. And when I'm telling you these numbers, these are fingers that I want you to use. 1, 2, 1, 4, 5, and this is written out in the score, and then you go 4, 3, 1, 2. So this is a really interesting pattern, and it comes right out of that 5-note blues scale. And once I get that pattern down, I could transpose that in any key as well. Right? Same exact muscle memory, but let's go back to C. And with all of these examples is that once you learn that one example, it'll work over all of the chords in the key of C. So we could do this. I'm going to go to the key of F, or the F chord. Now what I did there is just a little blues scale, which we'll talk about on a different video. Okay, the very next example is this. This is one of my favorites to do. This is such a versatile pattern right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, that's a really good one. Spend a lot of time there. And we're going to go down to the very next example, and it does the same exact pattern, but it's transposed down 3 half steps from C, and now you're at A, and do the exact same pattern. All right, now, I told you that this is one of my favorites, but I like this one even more than the other one. You go down 3 half steps, whatever key you're in, and do that. Now, even when I go to F, even when I go to the 5 chord G, now listen to me go back and forth between those two. I go. That little fun thing that I'm doing right there is I go C down to B flat, half steps down to the 5th. Okay, the very next example is what I call the Oscar Peterson lick. When I first started learning about Oscar Peterson, it really inspired me, all of his music, but I remember hearing a lot of what's called the tritone interval. So C up to F sharp is the tritone. It's a sharp 4 away from whatever note I'm on. And this lick outlines the blues scale notes, but it goes up to the octave, and we go. And then it does this. So we have this. Again. Now listen when I go to the F chord. Still works. One more time. I could go. Okay, so let's keep going down the list here. That's a really fun example. The next one is this. I like that. So I'm going up and then back down. F. Even on G. All right, the next one is this. Okay, so the previous one was this. C, A, E flat. This one goes da da, E flat to F. I kind of like that. It's nice. Even on the F chord. Now, even though you have all of these examples, and I do say that it'll work over every single chord, C, F, and G, there are certain times where there's a little bit of rub, like if I want an F chord and I play that against the F, there's a lot of tension there, right? So after you learn the pattern, and then even though you can use this and any note's going to work, there's certain notes that you want to stay off of this. Like if I'm on the G, the 5 chord, I might want to stay off of that F sharp there, right? But sometimes you're on it only for a minute and it sounds fine, so I wouldn't obsess about it. Just kind of pointing out something that may or may not be obvious. Okay, we're already on the second page, and this one we're going to do da 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 da, and then it goes da 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 da. That's a really nice one, and what I want you to really focus on is this part. Ba-da-da-da, 4, 3, 2, 1. No matter what key you're on, whatever blues scale you're using, make sure that you do this pattern. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ba-da-da-da. I love that sound. It gives me a lot of control too. It's like, let's say if I'm in the key of C and I go. I love thinking about my fourth finger being on that F sharp, because as I learn the regular blues scale and I'm going up and down the keys, that F sharp is really where I visualize the transition, like C up to F sharp, thumb under as I go up, and on the way back down I transition while I'm visualizing that F sharp there. So that's just a fun little sort of advanced tip to go along with this. So the next one is going to be this. So instead of ba-da-da-ba, it goes ba-da-ba-da. I like that. Let's keep moving down the list because I have a few more that I want to show you. You have this. I love that. A little tension, right? All right, now here's a little fun fact, is that this obviously, no matter what kind of bass line I do, all of these are going to work. Like if I'm playing, I could go. Or eighth notes. Any bass line that I do, you have this melodic material. And then another important thing about that is whenever you learn all this material in the right hand and I change the bass line just to vary it up, it totally changes the feel. So there's one other thing that I want to talk about as we wind up this PDF is you'll hear me doing this kind of sound. Like let's say we're doing the first 5 notes of the blues scale and then we go. And what I'm doing is called comping chords. I'm playing something to complement the soloist. I'm the soloist in this case, and I want to fill up a little space with a little rhythm. So let me go back to our quarter note bass line. I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's just comping chords, and what that is the third note of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, third and the flat 7 of the C major scale. And what's so nice about those are called guide tones. So when I go the F chord, now I go flat 7, 3 to a, 3 flat 7, bottom to top, to a flat 7, 3 chord. And then for the G chord, I can use those two notes, flat 7 of a G scale, third, to flat 7, 3 of an F scale, and then 3 flat 7. That's a little advanced kind of tip. All right, I think we're at the end of those. All right, the last tip that I'll give you to go with that is we're talking about all this minor stuff. And it's so important to be able to play the notes from the minor blues scale. But occasionally, we want to take a nice major third approach. So this idea, this comes right out of Blues Volume 1. We go 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. So I could go 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then. So I could do this for days. I could use this A blues scale or the C blues scale, but occasionally I might want to have a little bit of lightness. And I can do like a Ray Charles did a lot of these little slides, minor third to the major third. So it's a little bit like the sad sound and then the happy sound. So we have this. Nice little slide there. And then the only other thing that I'll say is this idea of, well, two things. One is the C6 lick is such a nice thing to practice sliding that minor third to major third. I mean C, E flat to E, G, A, and C. And then the last thing is this, is that we've been doing enclosures lately. I did those in all keys yesterday. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum. And that gives you the minor third to major third and doing what we call an enclosure. And then today's enclosure was more like this. That's today's enclosure. All right, guys, check the description and download this PDF. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.